in its place.
AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to Get Down to Business. You can get on my website, shalomklein.com. 6+ years of the show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. I just looked at our list of podcasts, and we are at many hundreds, which means many thousands of fantastic people, fantastic entrepreneurs, and fantastic folks giving back in the community. And I know that we all can use some good stories. And that is why it's my pleasure to introduce you today to Aneesh Chaudhry. Aneesh, it's such a pleasure to have you on Get Down to Business. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Shalom. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So you are, I believe, still 27 years young, and you have quite an entrepreneurial success story. I want to get into it. Aneesh, where are you from?
So I was born and raised in the small town of Dayton, Ohio, and I currently reside in Newport Beach, California. So quite a big contrast.
Quite a big contrast. And so you have, from a young age, been interested in the world of health and fitness. And what I'd love to do is sort of explore your story into the development of the Soul Physio lifestyle. Do you mind telling us how that came to be?
Yeah, absolutely. So Soul Physio lifestyle was really birthed from my own personal struggles. I struggled with pretty severe mental illness and addiction through my younger years, ranging from anxiety, depression, bipolar, really a lot of different diagnoses. And that really led me searching for different answers. And I got my brain scanned in 2013. And that's really when I fell in love with my brain, because it was the first time I realized that I actually have an impact on the way that I feel and how my actions can actually go to building a new brain. And that's where I dedicated my whole entire undergraduate studies to neuropsychology and learning how to ultimately heal myself. And because I know there's so many other people struggling from that, and being able to use myself as my first case and coming to a place of success at a young age really began with healing my own brain to start.
Well, you certainly have come to a place of success, because I know you have many different business entities. And I want to pick apart some of the things that you just talked about. And I appreciate you sharing and being open about your story. Certainly, mental health is something that is very, very, very important, an important conversation, especially with what we're dealing with during the coronavirus pandemic. But I want to go into the business side of things for a moment. One of your services are virtual services. And I was actually just reading, just before we taped this interview, I was just reading how telehealth is really all the craze right now. Everybody's talking about telehealth. What you have done, Aneesh, is you have developed a comprehensive telehealth platform powered by AI, powered by artificial intelligence. What does that look like?
Basically, what it looks like is there's a foundational mindfulness program that I've created. It's 12 weeks long, and it's a combination of meditation and journaling that really helps my clients, both in the corporate world and just average everyday people, help to reduce stress, increase productivity, and ultimately boost focus. And so that's a way that we help our clients to build a healthier brain. And where the telehealth part comes in, of course, with COVID, people need access to services from their home, because, all of a sudden what was simple, like going to the grocery store or going to the doctor's office for a routine checkup, is now very difficult in today's landscape. And so we use a platform called Healthy that has telehealth built into it. It's a HIPAA protected platform. And then the AI comes in to where, like the mindfulness program I mentioned, it delivers, basically functions as a virtual accountability coach, sending text message reminders, reminding people to meditate, to journal, to eat healthy directly to their phone in a very intuitive way, to where it's not just getting like an automated text message. It's engaging, and if people have questions, they can respond to the text message. Then the text message actually comes directly to me or one of my team members, so then that way we can answer whatever questions our clients have for them.
It's incredible. And one of your other entities is Soul Physio Productions, a film and television production company where you're focusing on holistic health and wellness. And what I find fascinating is all the ways that you have certainly become the entrepreneur that we love to feature on the program, but also how you are giving back to community. Can you tell us a little bit about Soul Physio Productions?
Sure. So Soul Physio Productions is in the process of being started up. I have a television and a documentary in the works at the moment, very, very early pre-production phases, putting together staffing, budgets, and, it's all based around being able to provide practical tools and tips for the mainstream people to be able to build a healthier brain and ultimately a healthier lifestyle. And I'm in the process of starting up the Soul Physio Foundation too, which is going to be dedicated to helping mental and neurological illness in children, which, to kind of piggyback off my story, that's like being able to help a lot of people to not have to go through what I went through. And so with both my for-profit companies, Soul Physio Lifestyle and Soul Physio Productions, we're going to be donating 50% of profits from both entities back into the nonprofit to help us construct cutting-edge wellness programs for inner city youth.
Well, Aneesh, I'm going to have to go to a quick commercial break in a moment. And after that, we will continue the conversation about COVID and what you're hearing from some of your clients and folks from around the country. But really briefly, I am curious. I'd love to ask this, especially from young entrepreneurs. Where do you see your companies, plural, in 5 years from now?
5 years from now, my biggest focus is on the nonprofit, and I am shooting to open up schools both domestically and overseas. So we're looking to break ground on our first school in California, as well as a school in India in 2022. So being able to continue to provide corporate services, as well as expanding my media presence as a way to just create more awareness around a lot of our new age cutting edge protocols, and ultimately using the growth of the for-profit companies to create awareness and continue to drive the growth of our nonprofit. And, you mentioned 5 years. My lifelong goal is to want to build a multi-billion-dollar nonprofit social enterprise.
Oh, it's awesome. I have no doubt that you're going to do it. A certified brain health coach, Aneesh Chaudhry. We are going to take a very quick break. We're going to be back with Aneesh in just a moment, talking about the issue of the day, talking about coronavirus impacts on mental health. Chicago, don't touch that dial. We'll be back and get down to business in just a moment.
Imagine if you're the answer.
Back on Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Continuing the conversation with 27-year-old young entrepreneur, Aneesh Chaudhry, who has developed many entities. And as he told me just before we cut to the commercial, is focused on developing the nonprofit and the foundation side of things, trying to give back to community. Because Aneesh, you have quite a story. And I know that your story of developing your businesses and helping others benefit from Soul Physio Lifestyle is really because of your personal experience. So right now, I have a feeling that there are many people like Aneesh that are out there that are struggling because of mental health. Tell us a little bit about what you're hearing out and about in the community.
There's a lot of different things, and the biggest thing I'm hearing a lot of people struggling with right now is just how abruptly things have changed and the degree of uncertainty that is yet to come. There's so many people losing their jobs, companies moving to working from home. And, now we add in the whole situation with George Floyd into the mix. And there's just so many different things changing with the world. And the thing that I'm hearing across the board is that many people are having a hard time coping with all the change. And that's where I recommend a lot of my clients and, all the different other podcasts and media interviews I've been doing, just really, really reminding people that, we're going to come out of this okay. The world is not coming to an end. Things are not going to be the same, but we have to be okay with not knowing and ultimately do what we have to do to take care of ourselves here in the present moment. Whether we lost a job or, we perhaps got a cut like in pay or whatever the case may be, it ultimately comes down to maintaining good, positive habits in our daily life to keep our mental health strong, our physical health strong. And that way we know that we can ultimately weather the storm we're going through right now.
Oh, that's incredible. So you have talked about your telehealth platform and some of the ways that it's helping folks virtually. What are some of the things that you recommend to our listeners that may be struggling, or even those that don't know that they are struggling? What are some of the conscious steps that a busy entrepreneur that suddenly our lives have changed, our habits, our routines have changed? What sort of mental health fitness should we be doing daily?
I'm a huge proponent of meditation and mindfulness, as I mentioned earlier in the show. And that could be as simple as just sitting in a quiet place for 5 to 10 minutes a day, closing your eyes and breathing deeply. I think things are moving very quickly. Things are changing. You have people saying stuff on social media. You have news broadcasters saying things on various media channels. So I think it's very important to spend at least a little bit of time detached from devices and from all the craziness, just to slow down and give yourself a chance to just almost have like a digital detox in a way, and detaching from devices and understanding that, as I mentioned, we have to take care of ourselves in this time, and being able to utilize different tools like telehealth and other kinds of virtual services. Virtual communities are very important. So, still connecting with people through Zoom at times like this are super important.
That's very, very helpful. So you talked about your 5-year plan. Is your focus to grow on the telehealth side as well, to provide services around the country?
Absolutely. So the way I describe my telehealth side is that it's an integrative healthcare network. And so you can imagine it like a virtual clinic to where we can accommodate anybody in the world. Because, we have clients we work with internationally as well. It may be a little bit more tricky coordinating time zones, but it's certainly not impossible. And then as we continue to grow, it's just a matter of bringing on more practitioners to be able to handle the growing demand. And that's the beauty of this virtual landscape, is then all of a sudden you're not worried about whoever you can fit within one of my brick and mortar clinics in California between the hours of 9 and 5. You could have 10 different practitioners with full schedules throughout the course of the day, ultimately providing more access to care.
That's awesome. So Aneesh, we are out of time. I want to make sure our listeners know where they can reach you. How can they get in touch?
So my website is www.soulphysiolifestyle.com, and feel free to fill out the contact form that'll be sent to me directly, or feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook, and feel free to shoot me a message. More than happy to get you set up with a consultation or any other services you may feel
necessary. Appreciate it, Aneesh. To success, let's get down to business. Aneesh, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back and get down to business next Sunday, 6 p.m. right here at 9560.
Did you miss the open enrollment?